The 2005 Masters. Tiger Woods, the only African-American player on the PGA Tour, wins yet another major. It's his 9th major win in his 8 years as a professional. People celebrate it as a major advancement for minorities in the PGA Tour. 8 years later, Woods remains the only African-American golfer on tour. In that time, only one other African-American has made it to the PGA Tour at all. His name was Joseph Bramlett. Like Woods, he was a Stanford graduate. His stint on tour lasted 1 year. For minorities in professional golf, the finish line remains unreachable. Mass sports, primarily football and basketball, remain disproportionately populated with minorities at the highest level. In 2012, 66.1% of NFL players were African American. In the NBA, that number was 76.3%. Overall, African Americans make up 12.3% of the American population. So why is it that African Americans are overrepresented in some sports, yet underrepresented in sports like golf? This question is in part answered by Michigan professor Stefan Szymanski, who found in a study of European soccer in the 1970s, teams with an above-average proportion of black players would tend to perform better on average than what would have been expected given the aggregate wage bills of these clubs. In short, discrimination was costing the owners money, and they adjusted so that by the 1990s discrimination was no longer prevalent in European soccer. Likewise, in American mass sports, they have adjusted their selection criteria to ensure the finish line is reachable for all, regardless of background or ethnicity. For example, the NFL Combine, which was created in 1982, evaluates top college players against each other on quantitative skills such as bench press, 40-yard dash, and cone drills. Participation in travel is covered by the NFL for all invited players. This gives players such as Bruce Irvin from University of West Virginia, who comes from a troubled background, a fair opportunity to showcase their skills at the highest level. So why, in social sports such as golf, are minorities such as Tiger Woods still excluded? It's not for lack of effort on the part of the PGA Tour.
Within the walls of gymnasiums and on school fields across the country, students are learning the game of golf, along with the First Tee 9 core values and 9 healthy habits. And best of all, they love it.
When they entered the gym, their eyes lit up and they just couldn't wait to get their hands on the equipment.
I like golf because it's really fun. I like hitting it farther than my friends. It's a fun and active family sport. I see myself getting better and better each time.
Perhaps golf can take a lesson from tennis. In the 20 years since the USTA started the 10 and Under tennis program, minority participation in tennis has doubled. And now, finally, the professional levels are catching up to the youth.
She held it together. And she is the newest stellar star on the tennis tour.
Sloane Stephens, who became a star when she beat Serena Williams in the 2012 Australian Open at the age of 19, is one of 5 African American tennis players who are among the top 10 ranked American professionals.
My neighborhood is it's middle class, mostly white. I was the only Asian in my neighborhood, and I was allowed to practice at my neighborhood country club. And for the first month, it was absolutely the weirdest thing because I was seriously the only Asian there. There's probably 3 or 4 minorities at the country club. But I've never personally dealt with racial issues or anything like that. But that was the first time where it really hit me like I'm really different from everybody else. And it took a while to get used to adjusting to that. And I mean, Asians aren't even a minority in golf. So for like an African American or any person of color to try and play golf, especially in like a country club setting, I would say it would take a lot of cultural adjustment. Golf is not a sport where you can just hit balls once a week and be able to play at a collegiate level. I mean, I would say any sport you can't practice that way and be a college athlete. So I mean, it's good that more people are getting involved in golf, and maybe a few of them will find out that that's really something that they really want to pursue, and maybe they'll go after it. But for the chances of them to succeed and to be college athletes, I would say are still very low, just because it's so expensive. It's just so expensive to keep up with that, and the travel, and there's a lot of traveling, and just, I mean, they might have the time and they might have the heart to do it, but you have to have some sort of financial backing.
In the last 30 years, Angel Cabrera is the only player not from a middle-class background or higher to win a major. That's less than 1% of all majors won. And even Cabrera is an outlier, being given access to the game through his role as a caddy at a local country club. So what can be done to take golf from a solely rich white man's game to one where the finish line of professional golf is accessible to all? The first tee efforts have certainly made a major difference. In 2013, more minorities will play golf than ever before. But to get African Americans on the PGA Tour, there needs to be more financial support sent their way in the later stages. In 1995, Glenn Pratt recognized this need and founded the Minority Professional Golf Development Association, which funded African American golfers as they tried to begin pro careers. After 5 years, the program folded, citing lack of funding. As Pratt said when discussing why the program failed, "If we focus solely on junior golf, we could probably make a lot of money. It's a harder sell getting people to sponsor pros." Pratt now helps run the PGA Minority Collegiate Golf Championships, an event sponsored by the PGA to provide a separate showcase for minority golfers and those from historically black colleges. In 2012, the winning team, despite being from the historically black college of Bethune-Cookman University, was all white. Going forward, support for minority golfers such as Andrew Walker will be huge. At age 14, Walker became the 5th youngest player to ever qualify for the U.S. Amateur, and has already drawn comparisons to Tiger Woods. Ensuring his financial support and support for elite minority golfers like him will be imperative to get African American golfers onto the PGA Tour. Only then will the finish line for minorities in social sports such as golf truly be achievable.